The rich get richer and the poor get poorer. How many of you have heard that before? Well, I've listened to that my whole life growing up here in Finland. And the thing is, that saying said, first of all, it is actually surprisingly harmful for society. And second, when it's been said, it is said as straight out leftist propaganda. You see, the people who say that, well, the rich get rich and the poor get poorer, well, those people don't have any idea what they are talking about. If somebody says that, well, go ahead and ask them that first of all, who are the rich that they are talking about? Meaning, what is their definition of a rich person in their world? Is it their net worth? Is it their income? Usually people who say that, usually they go pretty quiet. They don't have an answer to that. Even though the statement is often correct, that the rich actually are getting richer. But when people say that the rich get rich and the poor get poorer, it is said as this completely negative complaining. You see, if it often is so that wealth differences are in fact growing, but that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. But how? How are wealth differences growing? Well, there are two main reasons for that. And by the way, when somebody says that the rich are getting richer, ask them, how is that happening? Well, first of all, when the economy goes up, that also means that the value of wealth also goes up. If you own 100 stocks of a company and the value of those stocks goes up, well, of course, your own net worth also goes up. But do remember, of course, you are still not owning any more than the same 100 stocks. It's just that they are valued higher on the markets, stock markets, increasing your value. But also, the same is opposite. When the economy goes down, and the economy will go down on a regular basis, then the rich are getting poorer, and the poor, well, they are staying just as poor. What these negative complainers don't take into consideration is that your own wealth has to be built. So it's really not a question of even income. It is a question of who is building wealth and who is not. And if those who are building their wealth are fewer in numbers than those who are not, then yeah, wealth differences, wealth inequality will grow. And then, when the economy goes up, the value of invested wealth or capital, it will also go up. Whether it is a big fortune or a moderate, smaller fortune. But of course, the way the really rich get really rich is of course that these people are using their wealth to create even more wealth, meaning that they are working, with their capital, meaning they are using their capital as a tool to build even more wealth, investing in companies, working in companies, building companies. And right now the richest people in the world are of course those who own and run the, Amazons, the Teslas, the Microsoft. And those people who are really rich, remember, those are the same people who are the drivers of economic growth. That is a good thing to keep in mind. So, wealth accumulates to those who are building wealth. But this negative complaining, the rich get rich and the poor get poorer, it is completely non-existent complaining. And we have a lot of that, especially here in Finland. where other people's wealth building is somehow other people's problem. And that makes no sense. That this completely idiotic mentality that when other people are building wealth, it makes other people somehow poorer. No, it doesn't. The poor are not getting poorer if somebody else is building wealth. They are staying just as poor. In truth, the more we have wealthier people in society, the better. But yet still there are those people, especially only on the political left, that think that other people building wealth is somehow harmful for society. But no, people should be helping, assisting, and especially encouraging each others to build wealth. But at least in Finland, we don't really have that. And that is also why the point of this channel for the world, and if you watch this video so far, please do subscribe to this channel, because right now you still have the opportunity of being one of the first subscribers to this channel. Of course, increase of wealth inequality, of course, can be a bad thing if people's wealth overall is going down. But that is also something that these people, not the rich get rich and the poor get poorer, are never complaining about. That if the rich or the wealthier people are getting poorer, if the economy goes down and the rich, the wealthy are getting poorer, well, that is never a problem. That is quite strange. Huh? When the rich get richer, that is a problem. But when the rich or the people who are wealthier than the person saying that are getting poorer, their net worth is going down, that is never a problem. But then again, if the net worth of the person saying that, the rich get rich, if their own personal wealth goes down, well, then that becomes a great injustice, and that is wrong. So when the wealthier are getting poorer, that is not a problem. That's quite strange, huh? And so, increases of wealth inequality is nothing to complain about. And this saying, the rich get rich and the poor get poorer, is a completely stupid, idiotic saying. That was the point of this video. For this is Radio Heikkala. Thank you for watching.